Really, it's an interesting draft because they could go best player available, but they also, are inside their Super Bowl window and they could look to fill needs. Um, when it to me, if I said to you based on all your intel, um, give me one player that you really think is going to be a 49er at the end of the weekend based on all the intel, all the conversations, all the calling, all the visits, all the combine, meeting at the Hula Bowl, and all these different things. Factor it all in. Is there one player that, if you had to wager everything you had, he would be a Niner by the end of the weekend in any round? Who would you go with?
Aside from Luke McCaffrey?
Yeah, well, I mean, no, you could go with Luke McCaffrey. In fact, when I asked Christian about Luke McCaffrey, he was like, I really, really want to play with my brother. And I know he's probably expressed that to Lynch.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's just a matter of what round do the Niners go for Luke McCaffrey. I was saying that I could see a team picking him in the late third. I don't think the Niners would take him there. I think he's more of a day 3, round 4, round 5 guy, as far as they're concerned. That would be my guess. Would McCaffrey be your guy?
Yeah, he would be my guy just because of everything you just said. And yes, McCaffrey has been, every time he bumps into John Lynch during the season, cafeteria before practice, it's always been to sort of not talk up his brother, but I think McCaffrey was very interested in the scouting of it all and how, he's got a unique story. Luke McCaffrey does. It's changing from quarterback to wide receiver, and just the strides that he made. So, I did a story on Luke McCaffrey, and everybody I talked to said that, and I guess this isn't breaking news, but that he and Christian McCaffrey think very much alike. They're always kind of pushing themselves to get a little bit better at different things, ultra competitive. And you see that. I mean, I don't think that that's made up stuff. And I think that his progress at wide receiver is really impressive. And I mean, they've got these 3 fourth-round picks. I feel like, with one of them, it's going to be Luke McCaffrey. I asked Scott McCloughan. I said, Scott, what round do you see Luke McCaffrey going in? And he said 5 through 7. So if that's correct, then, and the 49ers are picking at the very end of the 4th round, and the 49ers are worried that other teams have that kind of 5 through 7 round grade on Luke McCaffrey. Yeah, that's when you pick him.
I love your breakdowns with McCloughan. Did you write a piece on this? Because I did not see this.
I talked to him after the 49ers draft, and we go over the picks and what he thought of the picks. So that'll be something that comes maybe in a couple of weeks.
That to me is very revealing because his eye is so keen. I can remember the one draft he really loved, Talanoa Hufanga. I mean, he was all over that. And he's just got a great eye for it. I would say if I was asking myself who's the guy that I could picture them with, I'm having a kid on the show from Utah. He was supposed to be on today, but he's going to be on Tuesday, and that's Sione Vaki. And he's an Antioch kid. He's a running back and a safety. And I talked to his agent, who's kind of a first-time agent. He said the Niners have met with him like 6 or 8 times. And he was in town this week for a meeting. And the agent seemed to think very highly that, with a lot of confidence that he would be a 49er. He's a Bay Area kid. As I said, he went to, I'm not sure what high school he went to, but he's from Antioch. So Sione Vaki is a guy that I kind of, if I was wagering just based on what the agent told me, I would say in the need that the Niners have, I could see them going for a safety or even 2. I could see a Sione Vaki day 3 pick to the Niners. So that one is what I would wager on. What about Rice and Gore and their connections and Owens? I mean, Owens' kid was at the pro day. Frank Gore Jr. looks more like Frank Gore than almost any player I've ever seen as far as looking like his dad. And then Jerry Rice's kid, Brendan Rice, almost sounds like he didn't want to be a Niner. Like maybe he would prefer to be elsewhere. Do you think they'll show interest in any of those three guys?
Well, first, let me go back to your Sione Vaki one.
Sure.
That's like I said, David and I did a dueling mock draft where we each pick a player for every spot that the 49ers are at. And he was one of the players that we both picked because of what you just described. And I think that the Talanoa Hufanga experience bodes well for Vaki. Vaki did not run a very good 40. I think it was like 4.62 or something like that.
Right.
Hufanga didn't run a very good 40. It was 4.64. But it was, what the 49ers saw on film was different than what both of these guys ran for their 40s. And so I think there's a lot of similarities between those two players. I don't know if Vaki gets picked in the 5th round like Hufanga did, but I think the 49ers see him as a immediate special teams demon and somebody who can come in and provide some depth at safety, and they may need it. I mean, Hufanga is coming off an ACL, and it's not a given that he's going to be ready for the beginning of the season. So that could be an area they've looked at a number of safeties, and that could be an area where they bring somebody. As far as the legacy players, yeah, I would say that Brendan Rice would probably be the most likely, and probably end of the 3rd round. That's when he's projected to go. The 49ers pick at the very end of the 3rd round. He's somebody that McLuhan likes a lot. He's a guy that plays on special teams, throws his weight around, has got good speed. He's a tough guy like his dad. And that's what the 49ers like. That's what they look for. So if they're looking to bulk up that wide receiver room and they want to use their end of 3rd round pick to do it, I think that he would be among the players they'd consider.
Will they draft a quarterback? And if they do, the guy that I really like is this Austin Reed from Western Kentucky. He reminds me an awful lot of Brock Purdy. I'm not saying he is Brock Purdy, but he's a film junkie. He's a 4.0 student. He's a great athlete. He's an incredible competitor. Do you think they'll draft a quarterback?
I don't think so. I mean, they seem to have their quarterback room pretty well stocked. I mean, they could for sure, and they could also bring in somebody after the draft. The problem with they have 3 right now, and the problem is that we saw this last year with the extra quarterbacks is that there's only so many reps to go around, and usually that 4th quarterback doesn't get any.
Right.
And I know that last year that player did, but that was largely because Brock Purdy was taking every, what was it, 3rd practice off to kind of get his arm right. I don't know if they've got room for that, but yeah, I mean, if they did bring in a rookie, it would be a 7th rounder or an undrafted pick.